Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, your child librarian turned homeschool mom, and in this video we're going to continue with the Guardians of Ga'Hoole book series by Kathryn Lasky. I don't have a physical copy, unfortunately. Again, my library was out, and Scholastic has decided not to make them in physical print anymore. So this is book 13, River of Wind. We are nearing the end. The book series technically has 15 books, and then she has a 16th, which is more of a prequel with Elzebub, I can never pronounce his name correctly, the previous, Soren's mentor, specifically. So, and that's The Rise of a Legend. So, we have his story. I actually have a copy of that here, but we will get there. So, River Wind's kind of an interesting story. So, it starts off with a letter from Bess, who we'd kind of heard about the previous book, who she was the daughter of the owl that helped teach Soren and Griffey to fly, who was killed. And she lives in what is a old university of the others, i.e. humans. So, but she's found some information of a sixth owl kingdom. So she sends this letter to Odalissa. And Odalissa, it's daylight. They're in the tree. Cat, nosing at books. She goes to wake Soren, who's in his hole with his wife, with his mate, and their 3 little girls. So his wife and their 3 owlets. He has 3 daughters. They're out. They're out with Eglantine and Primrose on a training mission. So they're off learning to, I think, deal with wildfires and coals. So they're off. So she goes to him. He's awake because it's kind of daytime. It's late afternoon, I would say. And she realizes it's like he's awake because, again, his mate and his daughters are not there. So she tells him they awake the rest of their band, as well as the other 2 members of the Rib of Ribs, I believe is what they kind of call them, which is Martin and Ruby. So you have Soren, you have Odalissa, you have Griffey, you have Digger, you have Twilight, then you have Ruby, and you have Martin, and then of course Odalissa. So that group is all awake, and of course Soren's nephew. Kendra, will you stop attacking me? Cranky cat. We viciously attacked by a cranky calico. Alright, calico. Moving on while I try to avoid being bitten by a cranky, nearly 13-year-old cat. By the time you see this, she'll be she'll be 14. So hopefully she'll still be around. We'll see. But this is being filmed in December 2022. So she turns 13 this May. Moving on to the book from my cat here. And of course they wake the king. So she tells them everything and recites this letter by heart. And it's like, okay, so Bess has found these fragments of this 6th kingdom that you have to go across the ocean. She wants them to come to them because she doesn't want to risk Nira finding out, and that, of course, is Corin's mother. So, and her pure ones and the craziness. So, they go to her, and they see these maps, and it's old weather maps. And they figure out, okay, we can get to this 6th kingdom, and we have to do these different things. Now, the other thing that goes on is the nurse snake of Soren's. Move this cat. Kendra. She's viciously attacking me. Proof cat. Vicious. Cranky. Very, very old. Very, very old. Moving on. The milk snake. I believe the snake is going to pop up in this book. But Soren and Eglantine's, their blind nurse snake, decides, she figures out what they're doing, and she's like, I want to come with you. I need to come with you. So they bring her along. So they have a nest snake with them. And she talks to them, and they decide, okay, we have to go beyond the beyond, and then we're going to catch these different updrafts. And eventually they figure out, they try to go there, they end up back where they started. And she's like, you have to fly into the next day, essentially. You have to fly either into the day or into the night. And they do that, and they get their updrafts, and they're able to glide over this ocean to this other world, where they run into what amounts to be, she's taking influence from Asian monks. To say that the author's taking influence from Asian monks. They run into this owl who's a blue owl. And it turns out that Theo, from the legends, had flown. Odalisque had kind of guessed, because he disappeared. And so he flew there, and he never came back. And he taught them very monk-like things, because he was a pacifist. He didn't want to fight. So he helped them, and then so he also wrote about his world. And so they were kind of predicting that Soren and his band and their king would be coming. So, and these owls live for a very, very long time. So they show them about their world. It's kind of a different setup. They have almost a fake empire. Well, not a really fake empire, but a fake royal court. And they're like obsessed with things and jewels and all sorts of things, and they have no power, essentially. And then there's pretty much a school, which is very much monks, where they do a lot of studying and education here. So they're shown around, and it turns out one of theirs is left. They're blue owls, and it's missing. This owl has vamoosed. He's deserted. So it's allergy season. Sorry about the snow sniffing, but moving on. So this is slightly concerned, and we go back to our original 5 kingdoms here. So first, what happens is, during the flight back over through a storm, Belle, who's Soren's youngest and smallest daughter, is lost. And she's rescued by this blue owl. This is supposed, of course, you know that this owl is from this other kingdom. And he limits what he tells her, because he thinks, like, he kind of lies. Kendra, cat. She's very young, so he's like, okay, he lets her assume that he's from one of these northern kingdoms. That she doesn't recognize. Please ignore the cat. So he kind of helps her, because she's been injured. And then she and him are both snatched by Mira, because they see him and they see her. And I think they realize she's one of Soren's kids. And then they wonder, this blue owl knows something. This is something different. And so, and they want to know, they know Soren's left. So they want to know that Soren and her son had left. And she said, Mira just simply wants them dead. It's like, where the heck are they? They're away from the tree. I want him dead. And that's all she cares about. So they torture this blue owl, and obviously kidnap Bess, or not Bess, but Belle. And eventually he reveals, you have to fly into tomorrow. So he kind of tells them, to an extent, under torture, where to go. And then they're left, and they go off. And Belle, eventually the ones guarding them get drunk. Belle and him escape. They're held by they get another burrowing owl. Another burrowing owl sees them. He's a healer. He comes and helps them and gets them out. And they get in contact with her aunt and Primrose. Okay, Belle is safe. You're here. And okay, Mira's on her way to where Soren's at. So they have to figure where he's at. And they basically go get reinforcements. They learn, and the blue owl get Belle home. And the blue owl says, when they're basically, you don't need to go to Belle, not Belle, but Bess, I can take you there. So he takes them there. And so actually they get reinforcements. They send for reinforcements, and then Eglantine and Primrose go, and to go basically warn Soren that Mira's on the way. And so they go. I don't know if they beat them there. They definitely beat them there. and they interact with the monk, and they tell him what the heck's going on. He's like, okay, take this red band, go that way. So that basically means battle is coming. So they go to their owlery, and they alert, okay, we need to prepare for war. So the band is learning from these other owls. And so Nira comes, reinforcements come, there's a massive battle. I don't know if Nira, it's always weird whether Nira's killed or not. They think she's killed. She may be killed. She has a tendency to keep coming back, so we're not quite sure if she's killed quite yet. Because again, you have the whole battle of Ember coming up in the next couple books. So Nira may be killed. Again, she's been maybe killed a couple times. So they have a huge battle. This Orlando, I believe his name of this blue owl, he's yelled at because he deserted. And essentially, it's the idea of, I think, Griffey and the nursemaid snake think these, like, part of this empire might be the Hag's Fiends. So they suspect that's what these things are. And they're in this weird cycle where they're trying to redeem themselves from being Hag's Fiends. But this owl is basically released, and he wants to go back because he wants to be better. He wants to break this cycle for eternity to improve himself. So he goes back, and essentially that's kind of the end of the story. And so you have this new blue owl who's part of the group. This, I'm guessing, is connected to this book, which is the next one, is Exile. And that's followed by the War of the Ember. So, and then we'll wrap it up with the Rise of the Legends. But again, War of the Ember concludes this grouping of this story, and that's a prequel. So, I think there's a couple little supplements I may cover as well if I can get a hold of them. So that's really the gist of this story. It's very interesting. You learn about this Sixth Kingdom. It's very Buddhist in a sense. You learn about what happened to Theo and different ways of battling. And Twilight learns things that involves him not wasting his breath singing at other owls before he kills them. And you get a little bit, again, they introduce this blue owl, which from what I can tell, Exile, infiltrates things because he wants power. You can kind of pick this up when you read this story, that he wants power. That's what he's looking for. He's lived this hollow existence, and he wants power. So he wants the Great Tree. They know what this is. So he's coming. He wants this. He's going after that Great Tree, and he wants power. So we will see what happened in his exile. That's in that book. I have not read it yet. So, again, that's it for this video. If you like what you see, obviously like and subscribe. I will be finishing this series. I cover a wide variety of books. I've covered a couple of series by this point. I covered The Princess Diaries. I've covered The Last Apprentice, which is horror, really dark. I did the Ranger's Apprentice, which was one of my firmest. That was last year. That would have been here in 2022. In fact, by the time I'm filming this, I think most of those would be out. I've covered some more Tamora Pierce. In fact, as of not necessarily this shooting, by the time you guys see this, I'll have covered her Circle of Magic, her Circle Opens, the Lioness Quartet, as well as the Immortals Quartet. So all of those are already up, so you can check those out, along with a wide variety of books. I don't just do series. I've done a bunch of different things. A lot of times I do picture books. Sometimes I do smaller stuff. This cat is still being annoying this evening. I do films. Again, irritating cat. Kendra, she noses around books on the desk because cats. But as well, a variety of films. Some of them are educational. Some of them are not. Kendra, do not mess with my computer screen. Cats are annoying. And yet we love one. And this is one of 4. The other ones are just too young, and I do not let them in the office because they're a nuisance more than this one. Again, check out what I've got along with the book and film reviews. I also do some I review some various YouTube videos, more educational stuff. So be sure to check those out as well. And we do some travel stuff. I'll have videos out on some of our local educational attractions, i.e. in this case, our zoo and our aquarium, as well as travel stuff. And then as my child, of course, gets older, we'll probably have more of it. So by the time you guys see this, educational, secular educational stuff. So homeschooling stuff, which is what we do. We are secular, non-religious homeschoolers. So by the time you guys see this, my daughter will be 4, which is frightening considering she's 2.5 as of the shooting of this. But I will definitely be adding those. It's just easier to do the book and film reviews earlier because they're available and my child has to grow. So, and of course we have to get back to traveling because we're crossing our fingers. It's nearly the end of the COVID-19 pandemic. It's 2022. We're hoping. So we get back to traveling. So check out, I do have, as of the shooting, I have some travel videos. Hopefully by the time you see this, I'll have more. So like and subscribe, leave a positive comment if you have one. Thank you.